Okay, so after watching our promotion video, so we're gonna start our meeting today. Okay, so very good afternoon to everyone. Very welcome guys to come to our meeting, to come to our sharing lecture. So today our topic is listening and responding. So 6 of us, ZIYUAN, YIMING, YAXIN, RUOXI, Baby, and YUNYAO will introduce something about listening and responding to you guys. And hopefully after just watching our lecture, you guys can learn something about listening skills, responding skills, and improve them. So for today's content, you guys will learn what is listening, why you listen, listening barriers, improving listening skills, responding with empathy, and improving responding skills. And for today's objectives, first is to identify the process of listening and characteristics of listening styles. A second is to know the useful and functional techniques of being a good listener and responder. And third is to understand the value of listening and respond in people's daily lives and working environments. So firstly, I will introduce what is listening. First, what is listening? Listening is a complex process to provide meaning from anything we heard. And listening is a process that works together through humans' ears and brain. So the listening process usually have 5 steps. The first is to choose. We focus only onto the sound or voice from multiple voices received. Then we're giving attention to only selected sound, and the other sound were set aside. And after this, we went through the brain to provide meaning to the sound. We call this understand. When we have understanding of these sounds, the sounds understood earlier stored as memory or recollection. And then last, we call the process of forming your understanding for a message as response. And next, I'll introduce the importance and purposes of listening. Paul Rankin found that theory in 1926 that 9% used for writing, 16% used for reading, and 30% used for communication, and 45% used for listening. So we can find that listening is much more vital than writing, reading, and communication. And for the purposes of listening, first is enjoying the sounds or voices, and then to listen, to learn something, and then to make assessment, or we can call that evaluation. And the last purpose is to provide empathy. I believe that everyone may be a little bit confused about the concepts of hearing and listening. These two words are easily regarded as the same meaning in our daily use. So when we're about to make a comparison between hearing and listening, we usually focus on different main characteristics of them. In general, the biggest difference between hearing and listening is the voluntary difference. Hearing is usually an involuntary act, but listening is a voluntary process of people's brains. Judging from a voluntary perspective, hearing can be regarded as an accidental process, and people usually do not have active awareness to hear something. But listening is a process we'll focus on. Also, hearing is an effortless behavior, but listening is more intentional than hearing. So next, my friend YAXIN will introduce about why you listen.
Hello everyone, this is YAXIN here. Now I'm going to talking about why you listen. Next slide, please. So from the perspective of process, I would like to talking about why you listen. In addition to the sound waves vibrating the earthworm in the physical sense, the sound is transmitted to the brain through the nerves in the human body. In terms of the listening process, we select and attend to various stimuli based on science. We then interrupt auditory and visual stimuli in order to make meaning out of them based on our existing stigmata. Short-term and long-term memory stores stimuli until they're discarded or processed for later recall. We then evaluate the credibility, completeness, and worth of message before responding with verbal and non-verbal signs. Next slide, please. So now that I think about from the perspective of discriminative listening, we always use it to distinguish between and focus on specific sounds. We use informational listening to try to comprehend and retain information. And through the critical listening, we analyze and evaluate messages at various levels. Let us move to the next page, please. So here I would like to talking about why you listen from the listening styles. We usually have three styles respectively. The first one is people-oriented listeners. They are concerned with others' needs and feelings, which may distract it from a task or the content of a message. The second one is action-oriented listeners, and they prefer listening to well-organized and precise information and are more concerned about solving an issue than they're about supporting the speaker. The last one and also the third one is content-oriented listeners. They always enjoy processing complicated information and are typically viewed as credible because they view an issue from multiple perspectives before making a decision. Let us move to the next slide. I would like to focus on why should you listen. The importance, the purpose of listening. The first one is to focus on messages sent by other people or noises coming from our surroundings. And you can also, through this one, to better our understanding of other people's communication. The third one is to critically evaluate our other people's message and to monitor the verbal signs. And they also to indicate that we are interested or paying attention or emphasize with others and show we care about them. So-called relational maintenance. The last one is to engage in negotiation, dialogue, or other exchanges that result in shared understanding of our agreement on an issue. That's all for my part. Let us move to the next person. Thank you.
Okay, here's my part. My name is Barbie, and I will introduce the listening barriers. Listening barriers is anything that is psychologically or physically hindering you from recognizing, understanding, and accurately interpreting the message that you are receiving. Okay, shall we proceed to the next slide, please? So here we're gonna introduce the factors that cause the listening barriers. The first factor is the information overload. Information overload is when you have so much information coming at you, it's easy to become overwhelmed. In a public speaking class, you can experience this when listening to your fellow classmates give speeches, especially if you're hearing 20 speeches one after the other, you become overwhelmed and you will probably find yourself tuning out at some point. Next slide, please. Okay, the second factor is the personal concerns. Sometimes when we are absorbed in our own thoughts and concerns, we can't focus on what someone else is saying. Your role as an audience member is to listen and to what the speaker is saying. If you find yourself focusing on your own upcoming speech rather than listening to your classmates, you're allowing your personal concerns to distract you. When you allow these worries to take your focus, you will often find that you become a less effective listener. Next slide, please. The third factor is the prejudice. Sometimes you might have a hard time listening because you do not agree with the speaker. We as humans have a tendency to be close-minded at times. If you have an emotional reaction to a speaker or you disagree with his or her ideas on a personal level, you might allow a personal prejudice to distract you. Keep an open mind. While you may not agree with the speaker, his or her message may be valid. You will never know until you hear them out. Next slide, please. The last factor that may cause the listening barriers is the rate of speech and thought. Most people speak at a rate of 125 words per minute. As a listener, you are able to filter 700 words a minute. If we can process so many words than we actually hear, a mental lag can occur. Eventually, you will stop listening, or you will find yourself drifting in and out. It might be to your benefit to mentally summarize the speaker's ideas from time to time to keep yourself engaged. Okay, that's all of my part. I'll pass to my fellow.
Okay, I'm Jorge, and now I'm going to find about how to improve listening skills. So at first, I want to say and talk about why are listening skills important. Listening skills are, as we know, are an essential part of good communication. When you are an attentive listener, you can begin to improve relationships, make decisions more effectively, reach agreements with others quickly. And it's essential to evaluate your current listening skills to select the areas you can improve in. And here are some steps you may take to help improve your listening skills. The first is maintain eye contact with the speaker. When you're listening to someone talk, you should avoid looking out a window, texting, or scrolling through your phone, or scanning your computer screen. Limit any unnecessary distractions. Provide the speaker with your undivided attention and make an effort to look at them. This provides them with a nonverbal cue that you are interested in what they're saying, which encourages them to continue expressing themselves. And the second is visualize what the speaker is saying. Try to conjure up mental images of what the speaker is talking about while you are listening to help retain information. This may be a literal picture or other concepts that relate to the topic. This will help you to remember keywords and phrases when you listen for long periods. And visualizing what a speaker is saying will also help you to not have to prepare for what to say next. If you're having to lose focus, make sure to immediately refocus. And next slide, please. And the third is limit judgment. Listen without criticizing the speaker in your mind while they talk, even if the message causes you agitation or alarm. Try to avoid thinking about negative or judgmental comments because this compromises your ability to listen. You also want to listen with an open mind and understand that the person is giving you their perspective. You may realize that they make more sense as they continue to talk to you, and you won't know the full story without listening. And the fourth is, do not interrupt. Everyone speaks and processes information at different rates. If someone is delivering their message slowly, try to cultivate patience and wait for them to finish before trying to rush them along by guessing the next thing they're going to say or replying before they have finished talking. Interrupting sends the wrong message to the speaker. It may suggest that what you have to say is more important, that you don't care about what they are saying, or that the conversation isn't competition. Okay, let's go to the next slide. The next step is wait for a pause to ask questions. You may not understand everything someone says to you. It's best to wait until they pause to ask them to back up and provide clarification for the topic or phrase you misunderstood, and then ask clarifying questions. Asking clarifying questions, it helps to keep the conversation on topic. You only want to ask questions that pertain to your understanding rather than ask a question about something that is not related to the matter the speaker is trying to get across. When you ask clarifying questions without interrupting, it shows that you are listening, paying attention, and willing to discuss things further. Okay, let's move on to the next slide. And here are the last 4 steps to improve listening skills. You need to empathize with the speaker. Empathy is essential to effective listening. You should mirror the emotions the speaker has. For example, like if their face conveys sadness or joy, then your facial expressions and words should also convey similar emotions, like that. Emphasizing with the speaker takes concentrations and expends energy, but it allows for open communication and establishes relationships. And then pay attention to nonverbal cues. Most of the communication that takes place between individuals is nonverbal. You can learn a great deal about someone through their body language and tone of voice when they're communicating with you. It's easy to detect boredom, enthusiasm, or irritation on someone's face when they talk, depending on their eyes, mouth, and position of their shoulders. So listening also includes paying attention to nonverbal cues. It helps you make inferences based on what a person means when they are talking to you. And then provide the speaker with feedback. Feedback can be verbal and nonverbal, both then. You can use verbal feedback like saying things like, I understand that must be difficult, or just an okay. You can use nonverbal cues such as nodding your head and using appropriate facial expressions. The goal is to send signals to the speaker so they know that you are actively listening. So in a situation where someone is giving you tasks, make sure to repeat the task list back to the speaker so they know you understand what to do. Writing down what they say also shows attentiveness. Last but not least, practice listening. You can practice listening by being aware of what you do when someone is talking to you. Do this by writing down what you heard, understood, and acknowledged after an in-person interaction with someone. Or listen to audiobooks or podcasts without any text in front of you. Try to listen to no more than 4-minute clips and replay them to see how much information you can gather, you can retain. This will help you to become more aware of your role as a receiver of information, and it can enhance your overall communication skills. And I'm pretty sure now you guys know something about how to improve your listening skills. That's all from me. I want to say thank you so much.
Okay, so that is the end of the first half of our meeting, of our lecture. So you guys can have a rest, drink some water. So after 10 minutes, we will start our second half of our lecture. So see you then. Okay, so hello guys, welcome back. So our second half of the lecture will start now. So let's welcome YIMING to introduce about responding with empathy.
Hello guys, my name is Jaime, and here is my part which is responding with empathy. Empathetic responding refers to reflection and feeling statement that verbally convey an understanding of the essence or emotional meaning of the other person's communication. Empathy is important because it helps us to understand how others are feeling so we can respond appropriately to the situation. It is typically associated with social behaviors, and there is a lot of research showing that greater empathy leads to more helping behavior. Let's go to the next page, please. Here are some examples of empathetic responses. The first one is acknowledge their pain. Perhaps the best thing you can do is to acknowledge how the other person feels. When you connect with someone's pain or struggle, it helps him to feel supported. It shows you understand how he might be feeling. People in pain really just want to be heard. They want validation that what they are going through is difficult. Here are some examples of what this sounds like. I'm sorry you're going through this. Wow, that really sucks. I hate that this happened. That must be hard. That sounds really challenging. I can see how that would be difficult. Next page, please. And the second one is share how you feel. Sometimes it's okay to simply admit you don't know what to say, or that you're having a hard time imagining what it would be like to experience what the other person is going through. Whatever you do, just make sure you don't diminish the other person's experience or make it out about you. Instead, focus on sharing your feelings to help you better connect with theirs. Here are also some examples of what this could sound like. Wow, I don't know what to say. I can't imagine what you must be going through. I wish I could make it better. My heart hurts for you, and it makes me really sad to hear this happen. Next slide, please. The third one is show gratitude that the person opened. Many people struggle with vulnerability because they have been burned before. They don't want to share their struggles for fear that they won't receive an empathetic responses. So when someone chooses to open up to you, it shows that really trust you. It's your job to honor that and respond with care. Let the person know you appreciate her sharing with you and acknowledge that it might be have been difficult to do so. When you do this, it signals that you're a safe harbor for vulnerability. Here is what these responses might be sound like. Thank you for sharing with me. I'm glad you told me. Thank you for trusting me with this. That really means a lot. Must be hard to talk. Thanks for opening up to me. Next page, please. The fourth is show interest. Going through difficulties can be terribly isolating and lonely. That's why people share their struggles. They are longing for connection. They want someone to take interest in their story and understand how they're feeling. The best way to connect with someone is not by talking, but by listening. Show your care by asking questions and showing a genuine interest in what they have to say. Here are also some examples like, how are you feeling about everything? What has this been like you? I want to make sure I understand. What I'm hearing is that you're feeling. Is that right? Is there anything else you want to share? Next page, please. The fifth one is be encouraging. I believe most people really want to be encouraging when a friend or a loved one is going through a tough time. The problem is that we often show this by trying to fix the problem or focusing the person to look on the bright side. And while our intentions are good, this approach is rarely helpful to persons in pain. That doesn't mean you can be encouraging. You simply have to be mindful of how you approach it. Instead of saying it will get better or here is what I would do, remind her that you loved her and share what you admire about her. Help it see what you do. That is, she is an amazing person who is worthy of love. Here are some examples like you are brave, you're strong and talented, you're matter, you're a warrior. I'm in your corner. I love you. I'm proud of you. Next slide, please. And this is the last one. Be supportive. When it comes to empathy, actions often speak louder than words. You can show your care by giving a hug, sending flowers, or writing a handwritten note, or offering to mow the lawn or do the laundry. When you do these things, it helps to other person feel loved and supportive. But if you're looking for something to say, here are some ways to articulate it that you care. Like, I'm here for you. How can I help you? What do you need right now? I'm happy to listen anytime, and I would like to do anything for you. That's all for my part. I'll pass to my friend YUNYAO.
Right, so this is YUNYAO. Here comes our last part, responding skills. During conversation, we need to give others feedback, which involves both verbal and nonverbal skills. Firstly, we'll be looking at nonverbal skills. So here we have emotional expressions. During the conversation process, we are suggested to give, to show speakers your smile and keep eye contact with them. And don't be afraid of or avoiding looking in others' eyes. In addition, body language like nodding or hand movements are quite helpful as well. Nodding shows them that you are listening to them and your agreement with them, while head movements help others understand your response well. Next page, please. All right. Secondly, we will talk about verbal skills. The first one is understanding. Understanding is empathy, which means you to have pure attention speakers' perspectives and feelings, as well as knowing exactly how the other person is feeling at the time. For example, you seem pleased to have been selected. Next page, please. Another one is self-disclosure, which refers to showing your intentions to make others know who you are, like personal values, point of view, or what happened to you in past. For example, whenever my parents were arguing, I always believed that it was best to keep my lips sealed. Next page. Next page. Okay. Okay. So thirdly, we have information given. It represents connecting facts in an objective way without judgment or estimation. For instance, the support group can be used to make others dealing with similar problems. Okay, let's move to the next page. So during conversation, we are suggested to be brave and to give advice as well, because people normally agree to listen to our advice. They do not blame us if our if our ideas did not solve their problems, but be ensured that your advice is insincere and avoid showing off. Next page. Okay, so last but not least, compliment given, in which helping others feel like appreciated and accepted, because we need to be friendly, give a sincere praise, encourage and support others. Here's an example. Don't worry, you really did a good job in this project. Next page. All right, there are also some things that we are supposed to avoid in a communication. This is that is try not to express our own opinion, to express our own analysis about the person's actions. Even the analysis was accurate or sincere, it actually can cause more defensive or difficult for them to accept. Next page. So also try not to give a non-empathy response such as deny someone's feeling, like don't make a fuss, I'm so used to it, or underestimate the importance of the situation, like don't worry, Dr. Mike's not gonna be angry if you just submit your task a couple of days late. So next page.
Okay, so that is end of our lecture, but we haven't finished yet. We'll have a Q&A part, so we'll do a Kahoot. So let me share screen to you guys. Okay, so the pin code is 7919717. So you guys can join the Kahoot. So we'll do a quick quiz together. Okay, so if nobody join us, okay, we will start our Kahoot. First question is, which of the following steps cannot improve listening skills? Oh, I think five people got it right. When we provide a speaker with feedback, it can be both verbal and non-verbal. It's a true or false question. The blue is true and red is false. Okay, most people got it right. Which of the following is not a process of listening? Okay. Okay, good job, West. Which type of listener is more likely to be perceived as credible? Okay, good job. Which of the following is the purpose of listening? Okay, good. And next is the true or false question. Listening is a simple process to provide meaning from anything we heard. Okay, most people got it right. Our own analysis about the speaker's actions can be offensive in conversation. Another true or false question. Okay. We have 5 questions left. Understanding is one of important response skills. What does it refer to? There are only 3 answers. of this question? Okay, I think this question is a little bit confusing, but it's okay. Is listening barrier caused only by physical factors? I think this question is very previous to answer. Another true or false question. Okay, that's right. West is still number one. Just keep it going. Which of the following is not the cause of listening barriers? Okay. Which one is not related to responding with empathy? Okay, most people got it right. Oh, congrats to Stormy. Which sentence is more encouraging to people? Last question. Oh, I think, okay. I know that who made this question. It's a very great question, YIMING, isn't it?
Yes,
Okay.
I made this question.
Okay. Congrats, number 3 is West. Number 2 is C. And the champion is Stormy. Big congrats to you guys. Also, I think Oliver and someone got really great as well. Okay, I will go back to our lecture. By the way, we will not have any award then, since we don't have money. Okay. Okay, so that is our meeting and our lecture. Really appreciate everyone for coming and watching. I hope that you guys will learn something new about listening and responding. If the skills used in your daily life, I think you will be a great communicator. So that's all of our work. Thank you so much for coming and joining, and bye-bye everyone.
Thank you guys. Bye.